Put on your scuba gear, peeps, because we are going to take you on an epic dive into the mystery and adventure as we review the timeless classic, The Abyss. 34 years ago, James Cameron released one of the most spectacular films that I've seen, and that is The Abyss. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Calvin.
I'm Anthony, and today we have a review, The Abyss.
Today's episode takes us deep beneath the surface of the ocean, where a team of divers encounter an alien species, testing not only their physical limits, but also their human exploration, themes of sacrifice, redemption, and the power of unity in the face of insurmountable challenges. What are your thoughts on this movie? Like the first time you saw this movie, how did you feel? How did it make you feel?
It was actually really, it was really inspiring with the beginning of the movie, with the score. The score just sets it off, just and just the title screen.
Yeah,
like you already are getting emotional like with this film as soon as it starts, and then it goes right into, this. We have this sub that's getting this reading from this alien that's moving so fast, like in terms of knots and nautical miles. Like you have the captain saying nothing goes that fast, and then it ended up shorting the power, and then they obviously had a catastrophic event because they hit a cliff wall in there, and then they die. They send a buoy out, and then the movie begins with the oil workers.
Yeah, and it's just like the first time I saw this movie, I was a little kid. I probably was around like 8 years old. I think that's when I like really remember it. And I just thought I was so captured in the feeling that this movie gives off. It's not even like before anything even happened, like you were saying from the beginning, just like the score.
The score is incredible in the beginning. It like gets you sucked in, and like with the emotion and the adventure. Like
I was just like, oh, I don't know anything of what this movie is about, but like I am already just like, there's certain sounds and certain pitches that like make you feel certain ways, and this is one of those movies where I was like, oh, I'm like, whatever I'm about to watch, I'm in for a treat. Like, yeah. And it just, this is such a amazing film. This film came out in 1989, and it was written and directed by James Cameron, and was his fifth film that he ever made. And is another great point in the fact that James Cameron is a very creative director to like the master of the craft, basically, and pushes the filming industry to new technological like advances, especially like, that James Cameron does all this work with water a lot.
Yeah, he's actually infatuated with like the ocean and stuff like that. He's done multiple dives and submersibles to the Titanic.
Yeah.
He also filmed the Titanic, so
yeah. He held the record for the most dives.
Yeah. So he this is a part of who James Cameron is, so you can see it in this film.
Yeah, when I was researching a little bit more into this movie after I saw it, I saw that he actually originally came up with the idea for The Abyss when he was in high school. He was 17, which is just so impressive when you're that young and you can come up with a story that's this like just thought out.
Yeah. He also did a bunch of writing when he was a truck driver too.
Yeah. Cameron's visionary direction and groundbreaking visual effects bring the underwater world of like to life, immersing the audience in a sense of awe and wonder. And the breathtaking cinematography in this movie just captures the vastness and beauty of the ocean's depths.
Yeah, they did. For the time period, it was really well done. We also had Dennis Moran do some of it in ILM, so it's just like the whole scene with the water tentacle part I thought was amazing. I mean, just the aliens itself.
Yeah.
Like when you go down to their civilization, you have all those good shots where the alien grabs Ed Harrison pulls him down. So you have all those visual effects there, and it's just awesome what they did with that. I mean, it looked fantastic. Even when the surfaces with the Benthic Explorer, like you have the Benthic Explorer, you have all the subs and all the ships like on top, inside of it. So that part of it is really good too in terms of special effects and the way that is portrayed on screen.
Yeah, when I was rewatching it, I was like, because I had forgotten that part of the movie, and so when the ship is coming out of the water, and all the ships are on top of it, I was like freaking out. I was like, oh my God, like the scale of this is so massive.
Yeah.
And that's very impressive for just movie making in general.
Yeah. Even for the time period for 1989, that's awesome.
But The Abyss is not only a technical marvel, it also delves into complex character relationships, highlighting the strength and flaws of each individual. The authentic performances transport us into the depths of human emotion, leaving us longing to uncover the truth alongside the characters. The Abyss has a fantastic cast.
Yes, it does.
It stars Ed Harris, Mary Elizabeth
Mastrantonio.
Yeah.
She's in Scarface.
Oh, yes. That's how I recognize her. I was like, who is
she's
this?
with Al Pacino in Scarface.
The whole
She's the
time,
sister, Gina.
God, the whole time I was watching it, I was like, how do I know her? What is she from? Like,
yep.
And then like we have actors like Michael Biehn.
Michael Biehn.
Michael Biehn.
He's from Terminator.
Yeah. And Kid Brewer Jr., as well as Dick Warlock, Leo Burmester, and Kimberly Scott. There are a lot of supporting characters and cast in this movie because it is about a group of oil rig workers who are pretty much put on this military mission, kind of almost.
Yeah, they're just pulled into it by the company. The company signs like a thing, and you have the whole dynamic of how it happens. And Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio's she's Lindsay Bergman. She's like the one that's highly invested in the rig. She like designed it. And so she's kind of upset that this happened because she didn't want to come and do this because she has to, because she's basically knows everything about the rig that she's designed, the submersible oil station.
Yeah. And, during the whole play out of this movie, amongst all the many challenges that this crew faces, it pulls most of them all together. So there are certain characters that do struggle a bit, but we have this really great story with Bud and Lindsay, who are divorced or separated, I should say. They're still married, and they just really play on the fact that they don't like each other throughout the film until like leading up through these events, and just seeing the mystery being unveiled, and just falling. It's almost like they're falling in love, not just with each other again, but just like the ocean and the mystery is making them fall in love with each other. Their passions are coming together,
and it seems like they probably didn't communicate well when they were a couple, and it seems like their communication is growing as a couple. Like,
well,
starting to communicate better,
and they, put into a life or death situation towards the end there, especially like you have to communicate.
Yeah.
And I think that really helped push their relationship back together. I also really love the story. Like the storyline keeps us on the edge of our seats and, holding our breath as we take a deeper dive into the unknown. And the suspense build in this is really great also. And it will leave you breathless, like for most of the incredible sequences that happen.
The sequences, the score comes in when it needs to come in.
The score plays such a huge part in this movie.
Yeah, from the beginning to the end.
Yeah. So, there's so much in this movie, and it's so worth watching, especially I think that it's easily one of James Cameron's best movies. and you can see that it paved the way for certain water effects and certain just filming technologically like water procedures with like his further films such as Avatar.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And then Titanic as well.
and Titanic. You also see kind of some of the special effects lead into one of his later films, Terminator 2,
Mm-hmm.
because of the liquid,
Yep.
and it's just all really well
It's a
played
really
out.
it's really well crafted in terms of the way James Cameron's direction with the story. The story is good, like I said. It shows humanity, shows compassion, with humanity. It also shows the darker side of humanity, and with Lieutenant Coffee, because he has the darker side.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a whole just a cool good mesh and meld even with the alien species, which they call what NTIs is what they call them.
Yeah.
And they get to witness that.
Yeah, and it's really it's so beautiful the way that it just completely unveils, especially like towards the end with Bud and just fully embracing the unknown.
Yeah,
And-
and sacrificing himself for humanity, and they see that. You see that at the end sequence. I think it's in the special edition where the NTIs show like humanity, like
Yeah.
the evil side of it. So you see Coffee's side of it, the military side, and all the bad stuff that happens. But then he shows the great side, which is the good side of humanity, showing the love and compassion, and is shown through the text that Bud is giving himself up for saving humanity and just saving the crew and everything.
Yeah, it's The Abyss is a cinematic masterpiece, and that continues to captivate audiences, reminding us of the boundless possibilities of the imagination. It reminds us that sometimes to truly understand ourselves, we must first explore the depths of our own fears. Overall, I'm going to give this film a solid 4.5 out of 5 stars. I think this is fantastic. And easily is a masterpiece. So, the score above all things in this movie, I think the score holds the most power, followed by the story, and the cast also enhances all of it. The emotion, the growth, it's all well done. Anthony, what do you think?
It's a 5 out of 5.
5 out of 5.
It's 5 out of 5 because I love this movie. I've always loved this movie. I bought so many versions of this movie. I have the DVD. I have the Blu-ray. This movie is just one of James Cameron's best movies of all time. I love the score. I love the acting. Like you said, the score raises it up. The acting by Ed Harris and Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio, and just the rest of the cast, even Michael Biehn showing his dark side, because he's usually compassionate. Last movie I seen him in before this was also a James Cameron movie, which was Terminator, where he was the compassionate guy. And it's a flipped role.
Yeah.
So the acting is great. Like I said, the score, awesome. The special effects and just all the stuff done, like, it was hard. It was really probably hard to make this movie at this time, like with the submersibles and all the photogrammetry and all the things that they had to do, and Dennis Moran and ILM and all that stuff. So it's a masterpiece, and that's why it's 5 out of 5 for me.
All right. For those of you who didn't know, The Abyss will be coming out in theaters for one day only, and that's today. They completely remastered it and is super, super high definition and great audio surround sound. So go check it out. Let's get into the fun facts.
Yeah, we got some fun facts for The Abyss. As of 2019, this is the only narrative film that by James Cameron that is not debuted as -- 1 at the United States box office, which is kind of strange.
Out of all of his films?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
When Cap punches Coffee in the face, a single solid white frame is spliced at the moment of impact. This film trick is accurately conveyed in as a flash as a person sees when they get hit in the head. It is also used in Aliens in 1986 whenever the gunshots were fired. In Terminator 2, Judgment Day, when Sarah clocks the doctor Douglas in the face with the mop.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it's also handled the same way in True Lies when Helen punches Harry in the face. So it's kind of cool filmmaking. Like shows the splicing of filmmaking, how they did this back in the day.
Inserting a blank frame just to make it seem like a hard hit.
Yep. All right. The next fact we have here is 40% of all live action principals was photography and actually was shot underwater. So lots of photography, like I said.
Awesome.
Yeah. I thought that was really interesting too.
It's an awesome fact.
The first feature film to have used early versions of Adobe Photoshop. So you kind of see some of that with the scenes, probably with the water tentacle and
that must have been like Photoshop 1.
Yeah, but it's really cool that this is the first implementation we see Photoshop stuff being done.
That's really cool.
Filmed on a $70 million budget, making it one of the most expensive films made of all time.
Dang.
Yeah, for the time period.
Yeah.
It was, that's
Didn't
a lot of money.
I think it grossed...
It probably made it. It didn't say that, but it probably made back what it's been.
It did. I want to say that I saw that it made 90 mil.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Steven Spielberg studied the effect sequences in this film, as well as Terminator 2, Judgment Day, and Young Sherlock Holmes in 1905 to prepare for the 1993 Jurassic Park. The effects for all 4 productions done by George Lucas's effects.
Yeah.
Company ILM.
Okay.
So that's really cool that these all played a role. Like
it makes sense because of the way that you see the effects. Like even if you look at a film like Jurassic Park, like you can tell that the special effects are so similar to the effects that we see in this movie.
Yeah. This is the first movie under the THX Laserdisc production. So this is the first movie to have THX.
I miss THX.
So I thought that was interesting and cool. The mini subs in the wide shots were actually models suspended on wires to a smoky environment and is filmed in slow motion.
Oh,
so
cool.
I kind of see like a lot of, I think some of this was shot underwater, but a lot of it was just effects.
Well, I mean, you fooled me.
Yeah,
because I thought it was underwater.
It was a lot of movie magic in this movie. So other than that, that's all the fun facts I have for The Abyss. Feel free to look up more because there's a lot more.
All right, everybody. Well, that's going to conclude our episode for today. Thank you so much. Remember, if you want to really support us, go over to patreon.com/thecalvincam and join one of our 3 tiers that we offer. We offer a lot of benefits from those tiers, and we want you to be a part of our family that we're growing. So don't forget to hit that like and subscribe.
Yes, we'll see you next time.
Thank you all so much for watching the Calvin Cam podcast. You can find us on any social media platforms like Instagram or Twitter. Go check our podcast out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Amazon Music. We also have YouTube channel, the Calvin Cam. Go over there, hit that like and subscribe button, and follow us there. As well as you can now really support us on Patreon.com. It's probably the best place to support us. So you could go there, join one of our 3 tiers, and help us get bigger and better, and we will appreciate you every step of the way. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a good night.